support you and love working with you also. Thank you all for coming here. I really appreciate it. I so appreciate that the mayor, he actually had to leave the RIC graduation with a lot of constituents in the audience in order to come here. So I appreciate it. We had both been there first. Jorge and I go back to his race. And when he came out of his primary and was kind of, didn't have a lot of resources and there wasn't a lot of time, we threw in, along with others, as hard as we could to get the mayor elected, and I have never once been disappointed. Jorge, thank you for the leadership you're showing to our city. I appreciate it. It is terrific. Senator Metz, a friend of many years, Senator Quesada, Representative Williams, Councilman Castillo, I'm delighted that you all have come here as well. Things changed, as you know, when Trump got elected. I used to go around the state and we would have office hours for people to come and connect with our constituent services. People who need a problem with their Medicare straightened out. People who need a veterans benefit problem straightened out. People who need a Social Security problem straightened out. We have people in the office who do that. And that's what we've been doing. And they are here. So if you are here with a constituent services problem or issue of any kind, please don't hesitate to check in with our team. And usually that was enough. We'd come in, there'd be constituent services, and that was it. Well, the first one we did after the election was at the public library in Warwick. And in addition to the usual dozen or 2 dozen people who came in for constituent services, we probably had 300 people who just wanted to be heard because they were concerned and upset at what had taken place in the election. And so since then, that's been what we've been doing. So we still have the constituent service thing, but we're also here to listen and to try to respond and to, I think, try to be at least a little bit reassuring about the pushback that this president is seeing. So let me say just one word about that, and then we can go to questions. I'm not going to go through the list of topics. There's so many, and I'm sure we'll get to the ones that interest you because you'll be asking the questions. One of the things that has reassured me in what are, in many respects, dark days under President Trump has been the way that the system that the founding fathers of this country set up years ago has held. Over and over again, his executive orders have been thrown out by courts. Over and over again. I don't think he's won a court fight yet on an executive order. And that's despite insulting and condemning and deprecating the judges. They don't care, they do their job, and the challengers have been winning. He has attacked the legitimate media. He calls the real newspapers fake news and lives by the actual fake news in his head. And what we've seen is readership up, subscribership up, and the most determined investigative journalistic effort in probably since Watergate taking place in Washington with young, bright, investigative journalists hard at work doing their thing and making sure the public sees what's happening. The budget that he proposed was a disgrace. And what you saw in response to that budget was Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, Democrats and Republicans in the House say to the president, not only no to your budget, but hell no. We threw out essentially every aspect of his budget. He didn't get anything that he wanted. He didn't get the Planned Parenthood cuts. He didn't get the stupid wall. He didn't get to get rid of Meals on Wheels. He didn't get to get rid of the National Endowment for the Arts and the Humanities. He didn't get big cuts to EPA. He didn't get any of it. Because Congress, Democrat and Republican, House and Senate together realized this is a really, really tough budget. We're not even going to deal with it. We're just going to do our own. And we did. So the executive versus legislative pushback is also happening. And then the last little piece that the founding fathers set up was that they made 2 houses of the legislature. they made the House of Representatives and they made the Senate so that you'd get a second look, what George Washington called the saucer, where the hot coffee could cool a little bit before anybody had to drink it too hot. Well, look at this health care bill. They twisted arms, they put every pressure they could on people, they jammed it through the House of Representatives with no hearings, no committee work, no score from the Congressional Budget Office. They had no idea what they were doing, but they jammed it through. There's a Senate, though, and the reception that that bill has gotten, even from Republicans in the Senate, is cold, cold, cold. The Republicans have said, we are going to start over in the Senate. So even when he has been successful at taking Speaker Ryan and shoving a flawed and cruel piece of legislation through one body of the Congress, the other body, on a bipartisan basis, is stopping it. So a lot of these fights are fights we shouldn't have. A lot of them are fights that even if we win them in the first round, they'll come back, so we have to be ready to fight again. But it is, I think, a good and reassuring thing to see how often this president's terrible ideas are thwarted, overruled, pushed back against, and defeated. And that is a platform for pushing back to some victories in 2018 with any luck. So that'll be the end of my commentary, and I'm more than happy to take any questions or comments that you may have. So feel free. If you are more comfortable speaking in Spanish, we have a translator here, and we can do that also.